Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video I want to talk about Babylon 5 being remastered and available to buy or stream on HBO Max. So this article is from Engadget. Babylon 5 Remastered, now available to buy or stream on HBO Max. The show has been rescanned from original film negatives with SD CGI sequences upscaled. So this is a bit of a lengthy article. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I'm just going to hit a few key points. Nearly 30 years after its first broadcast and close to 20 since its troubled DVD release, Babylon 5 is finally getting a polish. From today, Warner Brothers is launching Babylon 5 Remastered both as a digital download from iTunes and Amazon, where available globally, and on HBO Max. It might not be the perfect version of the show that its creators had intended, but it's likely to be the best we're gonna get. A Warner Brothers spokesperson told Engadget that Babylon 5 Remastered has been scanned from the original camera negative. The film sequences were scanned in 4K, then finished or downscaled back to HD, with a dirt and scratch cleanup, as well as color correction. The show's CGI composite sequences, meanwhile, have been digitally upscaled to HD with only some minor tweaks where absolutely necessary. In order to maintain visual quality and fidelity between the show's filmed and effects-heavy sequences, the new version is only available in 4.3. That's the same format that the show was originally broadcast in rather than the widescreen DVD releases, but it does avoid the issue of image inconsistency that have plagued those DVD releases when they launched. So I want to skip over some of this and go down to, one thing I thought was kind of interesting. It talks about the original pilot. The package that's available to buy from today includes all 5 seasons of the show, all newly restored, in addition to the show's pilot movie, The Gathering. Has been thrown in as a bonus extra without any remastering. Specifically, this is the 1998 re-edit and rescored version that aired to promote the show's move from PTN to TNT, rather than the 1993 original. Naturally, the quality is likely to be far lower since the film materials for that episode were destroyed by the Northridge earthquake in 1994. And now the one thing that's interesting is I want to talk about is the bottom here before I get to my whole thoughts on this article. Warner Brothers says that the remastering process has taken around 6 years to complete and was a labor of love for all involved. The studio was reluctant to talk about the listings for a remastered version of the show that popped up on Amazon and iTunes late last year. The apparent error tipped off fan community that something was in the works. The studio also declined to comment about if this would lead to a Blu-ray release, although given the show's release on HBO Max, that seems pretty unlikely. So I like the idea that they're doing this, and this is a cool addition to HBO Max. Not only that, if the Dune Sisterhood show ever gets off the ground, combined with a remastered Babylon 5, that would get me more interested in subscribing to HBO Max, for sure. Definitely want to get it for the Dune Sisterhood TV show, if that ever happens. I'm kind of wondering if it's going to happen. It probably depends on how the Dune movie does, whether that show happens or not. Because movies have come a lot closer to being produced than what this Dune Sisterhood show has and been canceled. Now back to Babylon 5. The one thing about this, now I actually have all the seasons of Babylon 5 on DVD, bought them like a long time ago. And the CGI part of the show, I didn't notice it when I rewatched the series on, I had a 27-inch tube TV when I bought this series on DVD and watched it on that, and didn't notice how the special effects have aged watching on that. But you can really notice it when you watch it on a 4K TV, which is what I have now. It's a flat screen 4K 50-inch TV, and you can really notice the CGI hasn't aged well at all. So I'd be curious to see how well it would look remastered. And what I would ultimately like to see is I still want to have the old show as it was originally aired, like intact, but I would like to see them, really go in and redo the special effects with modern CGI, because it was so CGI heavy anyway. I think it would blend pretty well. So that would be cool to see something done like that with the show. Now, the one thing, though, that is disappointing is it's not available to buy on Blu-ray. And with all the streaming stuff coming out now, like, I don't buy DVDs as much as I used to, but it's getting to the point now where I'm starting to get more and more inclined to buy DVDs and Blu-rays, because of the strange things that are going on with these streaming services. You don't have the same control over your content that you would if you owned it yourself. And one reason why I want to have more of my favorite shows on actual physical media that's mine, that I can keep and rewatch it whenever I want to, is because of stuff like this. So this is an article from MovieWeb. Disney Plus blocks kids from Peter Pan, Dumbo, and more because of negative stereotypes. Profiles for kids under 7 on Disney Plus can no longer stream Peter Pan, Dumbo, The Aristocrats, or Swiss Family Robinson. So what Disney has done, they haven't taken the movies off Disney Plus, but what they have done is if you have a children's account, the children can't access these movies, which is kind of dumb, because if the kid wants to watch the movies, the adult can just log into their account and then let the kid watch them there. On top of that, I have a problem with this kind of thing, because if you're a parent, it should be up to you to decide if your kid can watch these movies or not. And on top of that, this is just one step forward to starting to erase things of the past, in my opinion. Because remember a while ago, they started, they were going to have shows that were problematic, doing that in air quotes, problematic shows. They were going to have like a disclaimer at the beginning saying, well, this show reflects the period that was made in, and it has insensitive elements and all this kind of stuff, like a warning. People were fine with that, but now this is another step. Now they're preemptively blocking it. So the next logical thing for them to go, because they're doing this in increments, is just to take these movies off of Disney Plus altogether, and probably just replace them with their crappy live action remakes. I watched a video on YouTube today where, I think it was that Dan fangirl, she was talking about that's probably the next step. So this is something about it that really, really bugs me. Now, as far as these movies go, I'm not invested. Like, I'm not a Disney fan of Disney cartoons and movies and stuff. I've seen some of them, but like, it's not something I would ever go out of my way to collect. But if you are a Disney fan and you really like these movies, these are movies that you should get on Blu-ray and collect them and have them, so that Disney can't ever take them away from you. And on top of that, this is going to create a new black market for these movies if they do eventually get completely banned. And the other thing, I find Disney, like, when they do this kind of thing, they're very hypocritical, because they'll do this, but at the same time, they'll treat their workers, or they'll have products and stuff made in sweatshops over in foreign lands, where the workers are treated like crap, and they're basically using slave labor. And then they get out and they act all progressive and woke in media and virtue signal and all that. But really, that's all a smokescreen. None of it's real. They really don't think like that. They really don't care about human rights. All they care about is making money. And all that wokeness and stuff they get on with in political correctness and like what they're doing on Disney Plus, they don't really care about you. They don't really care about human rights. It's just like a marketing thing. It's like a money-making thing. I guarantee that's all it's behind this. Like in this article here, about 2 reports in 2012 by the Institute for Global Labor and Human Rights and the Center for Health, Environment and Justice, and one in 2018 by China Labor Watch again detailed labor violations, destitution-level wages, and dangerous working conditions, including the risk of fire and exposure to toxic chemicals. Disney has consistently claimed that it has no legal responsibility for these sweatshop conditions because it does not own any of the factories. but uses subcontractors who produce the items based on Disney's specifications. Even so, the company has asserted that it has its own monitoring system to guarantee the conditions do not violate health and safety and wage standards. Despite its vast resources, Disney monitors have routinely failed to uncover the inhumane conditions and human rights groups which operate on shoestring budgets have exposed year after year. And then it came out how much money Bob Iger makes. It's like $47 million or something he made this last year. Like just unreal amounts of money. And then just how they treat their employees that work at their amusement parks. There's always stories about that. And then there's this. And then they're going to go on and claim, well, we care about minorities, so we're going to block these insensitive cartoons from your kids. But then we're going to turn around and this is what we're going to do to minorities overseas. And like, come on, that's a pile of crap that they have no control over the quality or the health and safety standards of those sweatshops. All Disney got to do is tell these people, like, get your game up, send someone there to actually oversee the shop, run it like a occupational health and safety officer to go there, make sure everything's in line with, actual standards, pay these people who are doing this work actual reasonable wages, and eliminate these horrible conditions, and then tell them this is how it has to be, or you're not getting the contract. Disney's the one giving out these contracts, but really Disney doesn't care. That's the bottom line. And this is, if you're ever going to hate Disney for something, don't hate Disney because they ruined Star Wars or they made a mockery of Luke Skywalker. This is the real reason right here to hate Disney. And this is why Disney and all their virtue signaling, they're just like a bunch of hypocrites. So this goes back to Babylon 5 and why I would like to have a really nice Blu-ray release of this show. I got the DVD one, but I would like to see this really nice upscaled version of the show in a nice collector's edition box. All 5 seasons plus all the movies in one nice set that you can buy. You got it. They can't ever take it away from you. And I don't know, I'm not sold on the whole buying stuff, streaming it, download, because I know in the past people who have bought digital books from Amazon, like Amazon can just take those books back, and it's happened to people in the past, but they don't give your money back because technically it's kind of worded that you're not actually buying that product, you're just licensing the use of it over a period of time. So you don't really own it. That's how I feel about that. Whereas if you actually buy the physical media of it, you have it for good. It's always yours. They can't come and take it. Cool that it's on HBO Max and it's remastered. It's just one more thing HBO Max can do to bring people over to their streaming service. So this is something that, when the Sisterhood of Dune comes out, and it's on HBO Max, and because I really want to watch that show, and that's the show I'm waiting for before I decide to subscribe to HBO Max, which I don't even think it's available in Canada yet, but I definitely would rewatch the Babylon 5 on there as well. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.